As a proud father of a United States Marine, as the proud father of a United States Marine, anybody who ever said that, anybody who ever did that, should be disqualified from ever serving as Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the United States of America. We cannot have 4 more years apologizing to our enemies and abandoning our friends. America needs to be strong for the world to be safe. And I promise you this, from the first day he is elected President of the United States, Donald Trump and I will work with Republican majorities in Congress. We will rebuild the military. We will restore the arsenal of democracy. We will stand strong with our allies, and we will confront and destroy the enemies of our security and our freedom. You know, when I think of these times, I don't know how you sum it all up, but sometimes I'm from south of Highway 40 in Indiana, so we speak pretty plainly down there. People say to me, well, what are you hearing out there? What were you hearing across Indiana before you got that phone call? And what are you hearing now as you travel the country every day? And for me, it comes down to, I think the American people are tired of being told. Is that right? I mean, we're tired of being told this is as good as it gets, right? We're tired of being told by politicians in both political parties that they'll solve those problems tomorrow while they pile a mountain range of debt on our children and our grandchildren, okay? And as Ronald Reagan used to say so well, we're tired of being told that a little intellectual elite in a far distant capital can plan our lives better for us than we can plan them for ourselves. I'm tired of being told. And in that vein, I got to tell you, as this election approaches, there's one other overarching issue that I think demands our attention. And you ought to leave here tonight and make sure, if your neighbors know nothing else, they need to know this. We're choosing a president for the next 4 years. 8. I like her over there. We're choosing a president. We just get to vote for 4. We're choosing a president for the next 4 years, but that president's probably going to set the course of the Supreme Court for the next 40. Got to know that. Okay? We better think about it. Better think long and hard about what that means for our Constitution, what that means for limited government, what that means for the God-given liberties that are enshrined in our founding documents, okay? I mean, elect Hillary Clinton, you better get used to being subject to more unelected judges using unaccountable power to take unconstitutional actions. I mean, Hillary Clinton actually recently said that even though the Supreme Court of the United States rejected the unconstitutional executive amnesty that Barack Obama extended, that she was going to do it again if she couldn't get Congress to do it. And that probably has a lot to do with the fact that with the passing of the late and great Justice Antonin Scalia, she knows that the balance of the court will be decided in this election, won't it? But, sometimes I think it's altogether fitting that that's the case. Because we're not just choosing a president, we're choosing in that president a direction for the rule of law in this country. And it's in the hands of the American people, where it belongs. So, let me just say, for the sake of that rule of law, for the sake of the sanctity of life, for the sake of the Second Amendment to the Constitution, for the sake of all of our God-given liberties, let's decide here and now in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, that the next president to make appointments to the Supreme Court of the United States of America will be President Donald Trump. As I close, I want to thank you again for coming out. I know I'm kind of a B-list Republican celebrity, so So thank you. I'm very humbled. I'm very humbled for you. I'm very humbled by your esteem. But I want to say to all of you, though, there seem to be so many things these days that divide us. And so few great purposes that unite us in this country as they once did. And I don't know where that comes from. I served in the Congress of the United States for 12 years, and I watched Washington, D.C. kind of evolve into one running installment of the old CNN show Crossfire, right? People spend too much time in Washington, D.C. talking past each other and talking to each other. Somebody that doesn't do that is actually here. I was there before he got elected. I watched him arrive. He's a man of integrity, a conservative of conviction. Would you thank Congressman Keith Rothfuss, who is in the House? But I think moments like this, we ought to think about. There's a lot more that unites us than has ever divided us, right? I mean, truthfully. I'm a Colts fan. Okay, I was here for the game a year ago. Don't gloat. But there really is more that unites us. I was raised to believe that. My grandfather immigrated to this country. He came here from Ireland. He went through Ellis Island. And he got on a train. Yeah, he did. He immigrated to this country, and he came to Chicago. He drove a bus for 40 years. He's the proudest man I ever knew. I was actually named after him. His Irish brogue still kind of rings in my ear and in my heart. And I can't imagine what he's thinking, looking down today. My dad married his youngest daughter and brought her down to a small town in southern Indiana, bought a house with a cornfield in the backyard, started running gas stations, and they built everything that matters. They built a family, built a business, built a good name. And in that family, a politically diverse family, I actually started in politics in the other party and was drawn to this party by the ideals and the voice of Ronald Reagan. But there were always the common denominators, weren't there? It was a common denominator of our liberties. It was a common denominator of freedom, the common denominator of what so many generations of Americans had fought to preserve and pass down to us. And it's still what unites us. It's a belief in equality of opportunity. It's the belief in freedom. It's the belief is sometimes when I'm speaking to fourth grade classes in Indiana, that's the year they study Indiana history, I'll wave them in and I'll tell them, I want to tell you the secret of America, different than any other place in the world almost throughout all human history. And they lean in. I said, I'll tell you the secret. Here in America, anybody can be anybody. And that's what the American dream is, right? And Donald Trump and I have, his grandfather came to this country. His father was a self-made man. He built on what he'd been bequeathed. He was raised to believe to whom much is given, much will be required. And there's a lot of zeros that separate us. But that's the story of my family too. It's just the story of the American dream, isn't it? And that's what we're really fighting for today. And so I would suggest to you today as you leave here tonight and you go find neighbors and friends in the days ahead, and we're almost 3 months to the day from the day of decision for the American people. I want you to go from there. I want you to talk about those ideals, talk about what unites us, and talk about a man that really simply wants to bring America back to everything that's made America great before and will make America great again. Okay? Well, and chief among them, I have to say, is that conviction which has ever been true since long before this nation was founded, long before William Penn did his thing. It's that we have this shining city on a hill. And we have been, and I pray shall ever be, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So the choice could not be more clear. Choice could not be more clear. But I want to leave you today. I appreciate that you came out for a rally. I look forward to saying hi to as many of you as we can before they whisk me back to the Hoosier State tonight and back on the road tomorrow. But really and truly, it's this election it's about change versus the status quo. But make no mistake about it. Every television show in America, every cable TV alert that comes on, right? Okay. Every newspaper headline, every radio show, every mail piece pales in comparison to the impact that you can have pulling aside a neighbor or friend who has known you all your life and saying, here's what this election is about, and here's why Donald Trump must be the next president of the United States. You got to go do it. You got to go do it. Okay? So I want to challenge you in that regard. I want to challenge you. Go out and present that. Present that with this, the American people can elect someone who literally personifies a failed establishment in Washington, D.C., or we can choose a leader, a truth teller, and someone who will fight every day to make America work again, make America strong again, and make America great again. That's what you got to tell your neighbors. So, we've come to another time for choosing. Not 3 months from now, we've come to another time for choosing. It's a rendezvous with destiny. But I have faith. I have faith in God and faith in the boundless capacity of the American people to again choose freedom and personal responsibility and greatness. But we have a choice to make. So here you go. I'm going to lay it out for you one more time. If you want a president who will protect this nation, rebuild our military, stand with our soldiers, our allies, and confront radical Islamic terrorism and rid the world of ISIS. If you want a president who will restore law and order to this country and give law enforcement the support and the resources that they need. If you want a president who will cut taxes, grow our economy, squeeze every nickel out of that bloated federal bureaucracy and repeal Obamacare. If you want a president who will build a wall, create strong borders, and enforce the laws of this country for the citizens of this country. And I promise you, having spent 12 years in Washington, D.C., it seemed longer. If you want a president who will upend the status quo in Washington, D.C., and uphold the Constitution of the United States of America, I submit to you, friends, in Pittsburgh and here in Pennsylvania, we have but one choice in this election. That man is ready, this team is ready, this movement is ready, and America is ready. If you will do all you can, we will elect Donald Trump as the 45th President of the United States, and we will make America great again.